James and Jay dissect The Walking Dead.
Yes!
Hey everybody, welcome to another session of James and Jay Dissects The Walking Dead. Today we're going to be talking about Season 8, Episode 6. Before we jump into the episode though, a couple of quick announcements. Per usual, this is a charity website, so all the funds that we get goes towards charity. If you guys can donate, there are links down below towards American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, especially during the holidays. Those tend to peak as far as suicides go. So whatever you can donate to help provide towards that nonprofit organization is appreciative. Also on our Twitch channel, there should be a link towards the American Red Cross, which is still continuing the efforts to recover from the hurricanes. But if you guys can't donate, we understand that, especially the holidays coming up. I know that money can be tough and can be tight. What you can do, though, to help us out is just like, subscribe, and follow us on all the social medias. Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Head on over to our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe us there. Boost our videos up. What that does is boost up the metrics so more people see our videos. The more people see our videos, the more ad revenue we get. The more ad revenue we get, the more money we can donate towards charity. Because 100% of all revenue from these videos goes towards charity. So every little bit does help. And we can't tell you guys to click on the ads directly, but like I just mentioned, all the revenue from those ads goes towards charity. So do with that information as you will. And James, what's going on, man? Season 8, Episode 6 of The Walking Dead. What'd you think about it?
Hey, man. It was, you watching the episode, you got to see Michonne, Rosita, Carl, Sadiq. You got to see Maggie back in the hillside.
Yep.
Carol, a broken Ezekiel. So you had a lot of cast members. Then you got to see Jay's favorite top two groups, the Garbage Pail people, or what they're calling them as the Heapsters. And you got to see Rick in his, I would want to say, in this season, he's been in every episode. So got to see all that. You didn't get to see the Sanctuary. No continuation of what happened in the Sanctuary. Got to see Daryl. So it was a jam-packed episode. Wasn't a ton of action until the end when they, thwarted the plans of the Saviors, trying to make a last-ditch effort to steer away the walkers from the Sanctuary. But not much action in this episode. But again, it was another, a filler episode, but had a little bit of action and had everybody in it, so it was well done. I just think all these episodes have been solid. I think my favorite episode still is the Kingdom episode where Shiva died and all the Kingdom soldiers died. I think that was the strongest episode, but they haven't had a really weak episode yet this year, and that's impressive. So I definitely liked it. I like the slowing down. I like how it's kind of building back up to something happening in the hillside. I think it's a hilltop, and I think it's building back up. The Rick versus the Heapsters. We don't know what's going to happen there. It's also building up Daryl and Tara going against the plans. It's starting to pick up just before the mid-season finale, which you always like to see, because it's gonna be a really good pendulum episode, episode 7, and then into what I think is going to be a really incredible, heartbreaking mid-season finale.
Yeah, like you said, it was definitely slowing it down, setting pieces up. I didn't like them going off their own again. I mean, did they not learn the last time what happened? They got captured and people died. It's like you just want to scream and shake and like, don't be dumb. I have to see it. I have to see the Sanctuary. Shut up. What the hell is wrong with you? God, you're adults. Act like adults.
Yeah, and that was kind of out of Michonne's character there.
Right.
And even Rosita's. That was a part. I do agree with you, Jay. I think that was a stretch there. And I think that doesn't, they're not using common sense or logic, especially with everything that's happened to them to this point.
And who's left to run it? They're both hurt. They're out there on their own. Carl's out there on their own. Daryl and Tara are gone. So who's actually running, Alexandria now?
Tobias. Not Tobias. I'm sorry. Tobin.
Tobin, you know? Come on, he couldn't even run the friggin' construction site, for God's sakes, you know? And they probably didn't tell him because they didn't want anybody to know, so it was probably sneaking away. Tobin's gonna wake up like, what the hell's going on, guys?
And he's hurt. He got shot.
He got shot too, so there's no one there. And it's like, come on, don't be dumb.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, it was. I liked the episode because like I said, I'm comparing it to season 7, and there were so many weak episodes that even in the presumably weak episode of 6, it was still, to me, it was still a solid episode. Like Jay said, there was some parts that didn't make any sense, like Michonne and Rosita going off on their own. They're both, you could see, and they really wanted to, you know, show the viewer how injured these two women are, especially Michonne. But this plays back into what Jay said. If they're this injured, why the hell are they out there? And why are they attacking armed, you know, saying, what are you doing? So it's they're not using logic here. Carl's off on his own. He's helping a stranger. They're not covering themselves. He almost dies from walkers. You know, you're bringing back in an unknown into the community. I know he asked the questions, but at this time when you're in war, you can't just start trusting anybody because you never know. It could be a double agent. You know what I'm saying? It's not the best time to be doing this shit.
Right? And I don't like stupidity being a plot device. You know, how do we trigger this? Oh, what can they do dumb now? You know, and that's how I felt like how it was with Rosita and Michonne. And, you know, we have to see it. What kind of excuse is that? You know, I'd rather have them partner up then with Daryl and Tara from the start.
Yeah.
You know, because so what, Daryl and Tara are driving by that same road at the same time.
Yeah, that was a Jocelyn moment right there for everybody who doesn't know what Jocelyn means. Jay's Oceanside moments. This was a Jay's Oceanside moment when Daryl and Tara come in at the perfect last second and smash the truck full of audio speakers on their way to the sanctuary. If this was realistic, that woman would have gotten away. Michonne probably would have been dead, and Rosita would have probably been dead as well. I like how she had the RPG and blew the guy up, but again, that would have done more damage than just blowing the guy up. It would have.
Yeah, she's probably blown up too.
Come on. So it was a lot of stretch moments, but still, you gotta look at it and you gotta say, I mean, a lot of stretch moments, and like I said, Jay is looking at it because there are a lot of things that from season 7 that you made you scratch your head, and both of us were both under the assumption that we're not going to have any more of these head-scratching moments, or not too many of them this season. And I think they're starting to rear their ugly heads, and this is why the numbers are so low. 7.85 million for Big Scary You, which I thought deserved a little bit better. I'm sure this episode is going to be lower than that. Just a lot of moments that are making those fans who are very upset at the season 6 finale, very upset at season 7, say, come on, man, what the hell is going on? But then if you look at, again, if you look at the show and can appreciate it compared to season 7, it's solid.
Oh yeah, as a whole, you know, the season. But this felt like almost like a season 7 episode with Rick going back to the Heapsters. It's the same thing. It's like, why would you do that? you know?
And that's another thing. You know, that's a perfect example. You know, they have a plan, but who's to say that everybody's going to follow your plan? These people should have killed Rick. You know, so it's a double whammy of stupidity there. You know, these people literally should have killed Rick as soon as he came in. You know, you still have to deal with the saviors. You just killed some of this man's people. Now he's walking in. He's the leader. You kill him. You take full control. You bring his head back on a stick to the sanctuary. Come on, man.
Yes.
That's realistic.
Yeah, he'd be dead. You know, screwballs out by themselves, so I probably get themselves killed somewhere.
Yeah.
Alexandria be overrun by somebody else, and it's just like, what is going on? This one was a head scratcher for me. You know, a lot of strange, I guess, plot threads they're trying to pull. We'll see if it pans out. You know, we'll see.
Yeah, and the one thing that bothered me, really bothered me in this episode, I think more than anything, was Maggie and in the hilltop, using the saviors as negotiation bargaining chips, but untying their restraints and putting them behind barbed wire. All they have to do is put their clothes over the barbed wire, stretch it out. Like they have enough clothing that they could take it off, and they actually can use that as a protection, a layer of protection from their skin and the barbed wire. Barbed wire isn't held that tight, so it's almost like you're putting the whole community at risk. And also, these people killed your husband. They've killed your friends. Like they should have lined all the saviors up and executed them. That's what you do. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, there's no time for prisoners.
What are you doing?
That's now who's going to be guarding them. Now your force is going to be doing guard shifts. They're going to be more
You're
tired.
utilizing too many resources here.
Yeah, feeding them. Yeah.
So
and bargaining chips. You think Negan's going to be like, yeah, I'll trade you one of yours for one of them? Nah, screw that. Keep them. I don't give a shit. You know.
Remember last time they had a bargaining chip with Noah and Beth, ended up killing Beth.
It's true, right? Yeah.
Hey, we got a bargaining chip for you. Every time somebody has a bargaining chip, they get the person killed. The governor had Herschel as a bargaining chip. Herschel died too. Yep. So it's like you can't have bargaining chips, and they're all Greens who are bargaining chips. Mr. Beth Green, Herschel Green. Like, what are you doing? Stop. Think about it.
Yeah.
How many Greens can be bargaining chips or have bargaining chips? They need to stop.
All of them. Yeah, right.
Stop gambling. Don't do it anymore. Kill everybody. So that was the part of the episode. And I said to my wife, I said, hey, look, if somebody bashed their head in front of me and I had their people in front of me, call me an evil person in the world of The Walking Dead, knowing how dangerous these people are, I'm lining each and every one of them up and shooting them in the head. And I'm taking the pictures of them, and then I'm gonna have that as a bargaining chip for Negan. This is what I can do to you. Period. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Come on. So, lot of different things, a lot of things to be set up for the two final episodes of 2017. We have tons of things to talk about other than The Walking Dead 2, but questions. We had a lot of questions here. Questions for Jay and myself. Predictions on what's going to happen with Rick and the Heapsters. Where do you think Rick goes from here? He's trapped. Easter egg here. He's trapped in a box, a boxcar, and they labeled it A. So that's a callback to season 5 in Terminus when they were trapped in the boxcar A. Mm-hmm. So where do you see? And another thing that you see here as a callback, we start to see the artistic side. And we start to see where these cats are from. Obviously, he made a cat in season 6, and Michonne loved it. This is who made it. It was Jadis. But anyways, so the question is, our predictions on how Rick's going to get out of this situation. Is somebody going to save him? Are the Heapsters going to have a change of heart? Or is he going to finagle his way out of this boxcar butt naked?
I think someone's going to have to come save him. This was not the last time we're going to see the Heapsters, though.
Nope.
Like I said, they gave her title credit, so they're going to be around for quite a bit. I don't know if they're going to come over to the good side or Rick's side or what. But I don't know who else is going to save him because his strongest forces are out in fucking no man's land.
Yeah.
So, who's going to go get him? Hilltop can't because they're watching, the prisoners, so they can't go up many forces. Obviously, the kingdom is
decimated.
Yeah. And then the greatest fighters of Alexandria are out on the freaking wild goose chase. Yeah. So, maybe he'll get pissed off because he's like, guys, I've been sweating this goddamn box for 2 weeks. Yeah. Where were you?
Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's gonna talk these people into letting them go. I think that they're gonna have a moment of gumption and either they're gonna take, because he stressed it again. You guys take, you don't kill. Mm-hmm. And the Heapsters, what they said on the Talking Dead is they only use the bare minimum of things. They don't even use the maximum amount of words. That's why she said he talks too much. They specifically only use, very little phrases when they speak to each other, very small sentences, 2-word sentences and replies. They basically are not there to negotiate, but if you present them with a good deal, they're going to think about it. I don't think that they put him in the boxcar for no. I think that they're actually deliberating whether to take a deal from Rick or not, and probably going to come back to him. Because they've already shown it's so easy for them to turn coat. You just got to give them something they want, and it has to be better than what they already have. So I think that they're probably deliberating on what to get from Rick, and they're going to come together here. It's going to be another double cross in my mind. And that's the only way he's going to get out. Because like you said, if you think about it, who the hell is going to save him?
I have no idea. I mean,
it can't be anybody saving him. It can't.
Yeah. And then even Carol, she's trying to leave too on her own.
Exactly, and she's taking the little kid with her. Like it's becoming insanity. But Daryl was supposed to be his wingman, and Daryl went off on his own because that was the whole thing. Because he told Daryl, "We got to follow this plan through," and Daryl went his own ways. Daryl was supposed to come and get Rick and help him, but he's going to the sanctuary. Carol was supposed to go get Rick after 2 days. And I don't know what the hell she's doing, So I think that it's going to end up being the Heapsters to take a deal from Rick, and we'll see what happens there. So that's my prediction. The Heapsters are going to come back and say, okay, we thought about it.
Yeah. Well, Carol did mention to, might have been Jerry off farm, might have been to the Keen, Ezekiel inside, that they were supposed to meet with Rick at some point.
They were.
So maybe she'll talk the Keen into leaving finally. And going out there and noticing that Rick's gone, and I'm assuming maybe Maggie would go from Hilltop or Jesus from Hilltop. But yeah, that could be by the time they get there. Maybe Rick's already talked him out of it and opened the gates, and there's Rick with Jada saying, "Hey, they're part of us now."
And maybe, but I definitely think that they're gonna. I think we're gonna see a double cross this time to the Saviors because they just take the best deal possible. They're such a gray area. They're almost like what we talk about everybody in The Walking Dead should be. They're not good. They're not bad. They're just surviving, and they're gonna take whatever is given to them and whatever they can possibly get without struggle or strain. They're gonna take. So I think if they think about it and they say, okay, this is what we want from you guys, and they'll have a deal, I think it will propel them to help Rick. But then you got to worry about them double crossing Rick again. But that's the whole point of the Heapsters. They're going to take the deal. So if you keep trumping,
yeah, I think eventually you just got to take them out though.
Yeah,
you just got to shoot them. Like, all right, guys, here's some food and it's all poisoned. Go off yourselves.
Another question was big question is obviously is with the crossover. Jay and I have been talking about this crossover. I wanted to get into this because it's something that we talked about even when we found out. So surprisingly, The Walking Dead announced their special crossover character. Jay and I predicted that it would be Madison Clark. And the reason why we predicted that is because we wanted to see her as Alpha, the leader of the Whisperers. To the point that even Jay asked Madison Clark during one of their dinner parties. He asked Kim Dickens out of character, said, hey, could you be the crossover? And she wouldn't tell him, even though he served her peach cobbler and whatever the hell else he could, she wouldn't tell him. So, we said it has to be her. It makes the most sense. Then we started hearing things about Houston, Texas, and we automatically started saying it's going to be Abraham. Now, that's going to be a waste. But then last night they surprised us and said, we're going to announce who's going to cross over from one show to the other. And as much as I love Lenny James, it's Morgan. So it's like, I'm conflicted. Jay made a good point. It's somebody we like and we cherish dearly on the show, but how is this going to make sense?
That's tough. I think it fit right in the theme of last night's episode, where it's just some of these decisions are, really? You can go with that? I think we talked about this too with Morgan. And we were like, we dismissed it completely. It was like, it wouldn't make any sense. Because currently the timelines of Fear is, previously to The Walking Dead. Because obviously you started, during their 4th season?
Yep.
Something like that. So, I'm not sure how many years it's actually been. But either way, it's, back previously. So not quite a prequel because the timelines or the actual... We didn't think they're going to cross, so it's not necessarily a prequel, but I guess now it is. But now the timelines are going to meet up, so we're going to have a time jump in Fear somehow. Because I'm assuming we can't go back because, Morgan, the character, didn't leave Atlanta, go to Houston, and then go back to Atlanta, and then start making his trip up north. There's no way.
No, and on top of that, why would you... We saw Morgan at first. Lenny James, when we first saw Lenny James in season 1, episode 1, he was a father trying to protect his son. He was wet behind the ears. He was not a survivalist. Okay, he didn't become a survivalist really until his son died. So, are we going to see the Morgan that became the survivalist if they're going to have a flashback or something like that? That doesn't make sense. Are we going to see Morgan journey from Eason's place to Houston and then back up north? That doesn't make sense because you're backtracking. The only thing that makes sense is there's going to be this huge year time jump from Fear to The Walking Dead, because remember, not so much time has passed in Fear. Maybe a couple of months. I say 6 months at the most, if that. So you're going to have a whole 1.5 year time jump from Fear to catch up with The Walking Dead. And then Morgan will have to either leave, obviously he's leaving The Walking Dead, so he's going to have to venture all the way from Washington, from Alexandria. He's going to have to venture all the way across the country to Houston. Like, how is he going to get there? You know what I'm saying? He's walking.
Yeah, so that's, another 6 months then?
Like, what?
And I'm assuming that they're at least a year or two then behind currently, so there's a 3 years jump?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
The only thing I could think of is the helicopter that Rick saw. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe Morgan goes with a pilot and they go out to Houston. But then again, as much as I love Lenny James and Morgan's character, for him to go to Fear the Walking Dead, maybe it will boost Fear the Walking Dead a little bit, but I don't think they needed to boost it. I think season 3 boosted itself. So Jay and I really thought, and we thought about it, we talked about it, really thought the perfect way to have this crossover was Kim Dickens going to The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That's perfect. It makes the most sense. It does. And as Alpha, she even has her daughter Alicia to go with her, to be Lydia. You know what I'm saying? She has her own Lydia built in, whether it's Lydia Alicia or Lydio as freaking Nick. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's so set up for her to be Alpha. It's not even funny. But now, what? Maybe Morgan brings her back to Atlanta. I don't know.
So he's gonna go all the way to Houston just to bring her ass back all the way to Atlanta.
Not even Atlanta, all the way back to Alexandria.
And what the hell? I don't know, man. I don't know.
So
that was a curveball.
Very big curveball.
I don't.
And this is an impromptu show. We don't know everything. We like to guess with you guys. We don't like to look at the spoiler sites. We try to figure this shit out on our own. And Jay and I both thought there was no way they could not do this with Kim Dickens. There was no way. Yeah. And we were completely ass wrong.
Because I think that was the ideal situation that we could imagine. If we were in creative control of this show, that's what we would have done. Hands down.
Easily.
And Lenny James, like I said, I think we dismissed it. We talked about this so we can discredit it, but it would never be him because of these reasons. And and there he is. Yeah. Huh.
I love Lenny James. He's my favorite. Everybody knows that Morgan's my favorite character. But I unless they're bringing him to Houston, and then he clears his mind and he takes Kim Dickens across the country and he dies somehow and it sparks Kim Dickens to become Alpha, That'll extend the backstory. If they want to do that, okay. But it doesn't look like they're going to end up doing that for some reason. I just don't. I don't understand.
No, I can't imagine them bringing one over just to bring another one over. And...
Oh man, so it's it is what it is. So that's my answer to it. I spoke to Jay. I think that Jay shares the same sentiments that I do. So we really don't know what to expect here. Our prediction is we don't know, or at least mine is.
Yeah, and the phrasing they've been using is when worlds collide, and
Yeah.
So is he going to be an antagonist to them?
Yeah.
I don't see that happening though. I don't see him being like a leader of goons. I see him just being a lone wolf.
Yeah, I agree.
I have no idea how they're going to use it. No idea.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Smaller questions. What is the red machete all about? Red machete is just the journey of the red machete Rick used to kill Gareth. What happened early, if you watch it, they started in a store where the red machete was used by an inexperienced survivor who did not know to kill walkers by destroying the brain. He was killed. A family picked up the machete. The father of the family picked up the machete with two girls. They fought off some walkers. The walkers grabbed the oldest daughter by the hair, killed the daughter. The father taught the younger daughter, hey, look, we got to cut your hair. We got to teach you how to fight. They rigged up a alarm system with a walker. The father got a little bit complacent. He just lost focus a little bit, got bit on the arm. He died. Now the little girl is in the house, and intruders have broken in the house and taken the red machete. So watch it 1 through 6. That's my explanation of it. It's just the journey of this machete, which is a good idea. It's a webisode. I like all the webisodes. I think they should have more. I just think they should focus on bigger events than a red machete, like Tank Guy, like what happened to the Vatos, maybe Merle Dixon's backstory, something bigger, than a knife.
It's different, that's for sure.
It is different,
but yeah.
Come on. So that's that. Big news. Obviously, we're at the final steps. We have a special on Wednesday. We talked about this last week. It was kind of broken up a little bit because we did a show. We had technical difficulties. Then we had a repeat, an impromptu show, and it was a little bit jumbled. But the author T.W. Brown will be on James and Jay Dissect on Wednesday, and we will be talking with a world-renowned author in the zombie genre. It's all said and done. We have the time, so 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, 7:30 Pacific time. We will be dissecting author T.W. Brown, asking him tons of questions about his work, the ideology behind his work, what he does in his life, his hobbies, his interests, just anything and everything we can think of. He's a guy that said he could stay on for hours. He's a talker. Really nice guy. We've been going back and forth with him. I'm fucking stoked. Jay will tell you. It's a privilege and an honor to interview him. So definitely, this is a big moment for us. And if you love the zombie genre, you're going to get a different take on it. We're going to be speaking live with author T.W. Brown. It's going to be incredible. You can check out some of his work. He does the Dead series, That Ghoul Named Ava, Zomblog. He has tons of books he's written. Like I said, he sold them worldwide. You can find his stuff on Amazon. He's going to pitch all his stuff himself. He's going to talk more about where his ideas for his zombies come from. And it's just going to be incredible. And I can't wait. So for all of our fans who watch us every week, this is a treat for not just us, but for you guys as well. So you guys get to see somebody who's knee deep in the zombie genre for real. Like get to talk to a celebrity in a way, and just have him, join us. And so all of our followers, if you can get us as many questions as you can, we try to get the best questions together to ask TW Brown, and we'll go from there. But just had to throw that in there. And Jay, what do you think about that, man? I've been spieling about it, but
I'm pumped. I always love dissecting, other people's opinions on like the zombie culture and everything, and seeing why they choose, this particular, I guess, theme of sorts, and why he chooses it. What's his mentality behind some of the things? How is he right? We can dive deeper. Ask me questions too, as maybe some first time readers might want to know more about his books. Why read his books? Kind of dive into that a little bit. And then once we get into the more finer details of some character development, I'm sure you can handle all those questions as far as like his favorite characters, or why did he do that, or maybe any regrets as far as killing off characters.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions for him about that too, man, because he killed off some of my favorite characters, but I told him I will spoil one thing in this instance. He's come up, you have, and I'm going to repeat this on Wednesday's show. So you have epic zombie one-liners or zombie movie one-liners of all time. First thing you think of is they're coming to get you, Barbara. Johnny said that to his sister Barbara in the cemetery when they're visiting their mother's grave. Their father's grave. So we're coming to get you, Barbara. That's iconic. Mm-hmm. And then you have Peter in Dawn of the Dead say to Stephen, Francine, and Roger, his thoughts or his grandfather's thoughts of the dead returning to life and attacking the living. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Iconic. It's an iconic line in zombie genre history. And then you have Lieutenant Rhodes in Day of the Dead, who's getting torn apart, and his final words as he's being defiant, he's saying, "Choke on him." We're talking about his entrails. Choke on him. Choke on him. Just keeps yelling it out until he dies. So he's in his death throes and he's yelling out, "Choke on him" to the fucking zombies. It's like incredible. This guy made, to me, and I've watched. We talked about this over 170 zombie films. I've watched about 3 zombie series. So I think I know one-liners. This guy, he came up with one of the greatest one-liners a villain has ever said in anything I've ever read or watched. I'm not just saying this to Brown Nose because he's coming on the show, but he has a character in his new book, Snapshot Las Vegas. He's kind of Negan-ish. He's kind of like a villain, but he's not. And whenever you defy him, I'm not going to give away too much, he does something to you, but just before he does that, he says, "I sentence you to the darkness." The way that line comes across and what he does is epic. So it's like, think about that. I sentence you to the darkness. Think about what he does to somebody in a zombie apocalypse by saying that. So that is an ultimate one-liner for a villain. And for him to write that and for it to catch my attention, this is his brand new book. So I read about 10 of his other books. This was the greatest villain one-liner I've heard in a long time. So just that's how incredible of a writer he is. So we're gonna get behind that line that he has his, the guy's name is Joe Landon. We're gonna have him explain why Joel says that, and where that originated from, and just a ton of other stuff. So, we're ready.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh man, Jay's gotten about 50 emails from me, just going crazy. So.
Yeah, so make sure you guys tune in for that. It'll be one of our more special Wild Card Wednesday episodes. And,
it's it'll be great.
And maybe next week we'll have some fun news too, but we'll let you guys know. James and I will have to work something out. Yeah,
we definitely gonna try to do something and involve somebody taking a trip somewhere. So we definitely see that. couple of questions for Jay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, two of them are from me. One is from a really nice viewer. So one, I'll start with a fan. Okay, is there any way that you can stream the D&D zombie version that you did at the Walker Stalker convention?
So we didn't record all of it. If you go to our Facebook page, Kelsey did do little snippets here and there, only because we didn't bring down our whole rig to the convention, so we weren't able to set up our usual cameras and lighting and everything like that. So all we had was cell phones, and I'm not sure if they could actually record that long. It did run us a little bit over an hour. So unfortunately, the only thing we have out there is what's on our Facebook page.
So there you go. Definitely, I think that they also wanted to know the concept, and I said it was D&D mixed with The Walking Dead. So if you want to just it's up to you, but if you want to dive a little bit deeper in that, Jay, and what exactly scene from The Walking Dead or moment from The Walking Dead you took on?
Yeah. So I wanted to create original characters. I wanted them to be memorable, but have a kind of comedic background or comic background for them. So my idea was that we had a limited amount of time, so as far as rules goes, we had to kind of simplify it. Just so it wouldn't take us so long to explain to new players what to do. So everything's very simple. You just have your basic stats. I think we just went with strength, intelligence, wisdom, and dexterity. So then each character would have a really strong one, a really weak one, and then two okay ones. So that way each one had their own moment to shine. The backgrounds are actually on our Twitter account. So if you guys don't follow us over on Twitter, make sure you guys do. And check out those character backgrounds. They're fun. I think off the top of my head, we had a magician. Was the dexterous one. We had a male cheerleader, which was the strength one. We had a astrologist, which was, I believe that was the intelligent one, and then we had a basically like a fire watch and like a national park as the wisdom one. So fun stuff. It went really well. The theme I took from basically the first episode of season 8. The crew was sent out to take out a post of saviors, and you just kind of set the scene. You just see what the players do, and you roll the dice. Chance, I want to shoot this guy with an arrow. You roll 1, you completely miss him, and now a bunch of zombies are coming towards you. So it's fun just to kind of see how things progress and see how the characters, react. And once again, just roll those dice and see how chance takes you.
Go. So there goes, straight from the horse's mouth there, the creator of his own personalized game at the Walker Stalker convention. There goes the explanation. Check out Twitter for, the character backgrounds, as he said. Definitely, if he does share some of the footage, it would be great. That was a D&D fan. This person watches D&D. His name is Edward. I'll call him Eddie. He watches D&D faithfully. He says he's caught about 9 of your episodes in full form. So he definitely not only tunes into James and Jay Dissect, but he also has tuned into the website and taken a liking to D&D because he loves that game and board games. So
it's a lot of fun. It's all about telling a story, with your friends and seeing where the dice lead you,
Yeah, he said that he likes the bearded guy. And I don't know. I mean, I watched the show, so I know who he's talking about. But he said he likes him the best, the bearded warrior.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, he likes him the most out of all the characters. And he said it's just awesome to watch because it's like him playing with his buddies and doing, having those nights where they have the board game nights. And it's almost like what Radic, me and you did a couple of times.
Yeah.
He gets together and he does that. So there you go, Eddie. I hope that answers your question. Questions from me to Jay. Some good questions. And then we'll wrap it up. But so in this season, strongest character of the year so far, Jay, in your opinion?
I think I have to give it to Rick. He's been in every episode.
100% agree.
And usually we kind of dog him, but up until the Heapsters decision, he's been carrying that weight. He's been going strong. He hasn't had mental breakdowns or anything like that. He's been keeping everybody positive. Yeah, I think he deserves it.
100% agree. I mean, that's why I asked you, and I'm glad that, I've given hints on who I thought was the strongest character by saying we've seen Rick every episode.
Yep.
So that was my, somebody asked me who my MVP of the season was, and I knew it, so I kind of like recycled it and asked you. And then the second question I have for Jay is, when do you expect to see Oceanside, now that Tara and Daryl are together?
Yeah.
Do you think it's coming up soon, or do you think maybe second half?
I'm gonna go second half.
Okay.
I think they're gonna get they're gonna push back a little bit.
Yep.
I'm not sure if the Heapsters are gonna join them. I think they're gonna have to start thinking, well, where else can we go then?
Yeah.
I think Rick has already planned it accordingly for that. That's like a backup plan C or D.
Yep.
If this doesn't happen, go there. In case emergency, break the glass sort of situation.
Okay.
So I think that will be next season. I think with 2 episodes left, there's just not enough time to cover it.
Correct. So I think that something bad is going to happen, and I think that the Saviors are going to punch them in the mouth a little bit, and I think they're going to take. You already saw that they lost 90% of the Kingdom Fighters. So I think that losing one entire community in a basic outpost battle shows you how strong the Saviors are, and as soon as they can find a way out of the conundrum they're in, I think they're going to hit Rick with a pretty big shot, and it's going to send him sprawling back. And I also think there's going to be distinction in the hilltop, so I think it's going to leave them with a lot less allies, and I think that they're going to have to. It's going to be a last resort, and I think that they're going to go to Oceanside. It's going to kind of be a little bit of a redemption moment, not only for the show, but for them to get into Jay's good graces. So I think the Oceanside, their whole objective is not to help Rick, it's just so Jay likes them more.
I would have went there before I went to the Heapsters.
Yeah, I think so too. But, again, it just doesn't make sense what he's doing. He's kind of doing shit backwards. So I don't know. But I think second half, all honestly, I think it's going to be the last resort, like Jay said. And I think that they're going to play a huge part in the possible turning of the war back to the groups other than the Sanctuary. So there you have it. Those are my 2 questions for Jay, and the one big question for Jay. Whole bunch of other little questions about the crossover. I think we explained our, how we like it because it's Lenny James, but we explained our displeasures because we feel like it's a dropped moment where you could have had something so big it would turn the franchise back around and put it back on track to where it was season 5, season 6. So, but who knows? Maybe they're extending.
Happen.
Yeah, it could still happen. But it's just, we really expected the crossover moment to be Kim Dickens, and we thought that they would keep it a little bit more under wraps. So I think this was to me, I love The Walking Dead. I love Kirkman. I love Gimple. I think that this was a kind of like a panic move here. I think that their ratings are getting a little low, and they're trying to captivate the audience a little bit here. Yeah. I don't know why they would reveal it now. It's not a mid-season finale. It's not a finale. So it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah, and with Walking Dead's, viewership going down, the gap between For the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead is not that much anymore.
Not that much. You're talking about 7 million to 4 million?
Yeah.
Or it was 13 million to 1 million.
Yeah. So maybe Fair should help The Walking Dead out. One's going up, one's going down.
You imagine? Wow.
Yeah. Hey, James, I got a question for you, though, before we cut it off for tonight. The Saviors on the Sanctuary, how do they escape, you think?
Okay, so Eugene, that was a really good question. I thought about that, and You actually beat me to the punch. I was probably gonna ask you that question if I didn't ask you the other two already. But Eugene gave a hint. So
Yeah.
if you look, they have like a trail of the first minutes. If you look on YouTube and you look for, previews, they have a sneak peek, the opening minutes of episode 8-7, and Eugene tells Dwight, which is a conclusion of what Negan said to him. Negan told him, "You find a way out, and I'll make your life good. If you don't, I'm gonna use you as an example. I'll kill you fast, but these people need to understand that you're the one who," because Negan thinks it's Eugene who did all this.
Right.
So Negan basically said, "I'm gonna give you a chance to get us out of it, and all will be good. But if you don't get us out of it, I'll kill you, and you can die quick, while all the rest of us die slow like men." Basically saying that.
Yeah.
So Eugene, in the opening minutes of 8-7, he tells Dwight that he knows it's him. He knows it's him because of the paint. And he tells Dwight, "Stop the double crossing so I can figure out how to get out of here. Once you stop the double crossing, I won't tell Negan it was you. I'll just have enough time to get the hell out of here. Like, you keep bringing bad shit upon us, I'll never get out of here, and he'll kill me." So it's like he gave you a hint that it has to do with something where he's going to utilize either the workers, or he's going to do some sort of, super, funneling them in. So I think that they're going to get, they're going to utilize the workers probably, but they're going to pull the Alexandria stunt. To me, this is my opinion, where they basically funnel them in and they take them out, with, the workers and everybody replicating what they did in Alexandria. So I could see, Eugene using his mind and saying, "This is how we did it before. This is how we have to do it again." And he's going to use the sanctuary as, to his advantage. And they're going to funnel the walkers in, and they're just going to kill them until they get enough out of there. And then they'll be able to take it over, because it's the same situation Alexandria was in. And that's how I think they're going to do it. I think that's the connection Eugene has, with the herd in Alexandria and the herd in the sanctuary. I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to utilize, all the manpower, and he's going to say, "This is how we did it before. This is how we're going to do it again. And all will be right." But he has to tell Dwight, "Don't keep fucking it up." Because it won't work.
Yeah, you're gonna sabotage. We're both gonna end up dead.
What the fuck, So I think that they're gonna use the Alexandria trick, and that's how they'll get out of it. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong, but I think that makes the most sense, because that's the connection. That's the thing that Eugene has to dig deep. That's in his reserve. This is how we did it before. It worked. We can do it again. Because in that preview, he listed things I know, things I don't know, and things I don't know wholly. It's like he listed 3 different things. That is also a hint. He knows what he did before. He doesn't know certain things. He doesn't, but it, that's how my mind works. Maybe I'm wrong.
Hey, we'll see, right? That's what we can do now. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, man. So before we go, as promised, our zombie movie of the week. I know a lot of hippies. I know a lot of public health people. I know a lot of vegans. I know a lot of vegetarians. I know a lot of tree huggers. I know a lot of people who like to be outdoors. So I picked this zombie movie for them. It's called Severed. It's the Forest of the Dead. This is a zombie movie that takes place all outside in the woods, where a lumber company is cutting down trees, and a bunch of tree hugging hippies are spiking the trees, and they don't understand that there's a scientific company out there, and they're putting in chemicals to make the trees grow faster so they can cut more lumber, and this chemical they're putting in the trees is turning people into zombies. So if you like tree hugging, and you like trees, and you like zombies, and you like the outdoors, this is a very good film. It's very dark set. It used to be on Netflix, but if not, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Severed. It's what the zombie apocalypse would be like outdoors, just like The Walking Dead. But it's a really complete movie. Check it out. So Severed, Forest of the Dead is this week's zombie movie of the week.
Well, there you guys go. Thank you guys for watching and joining us this Monday night. Hopefully, you guys can catch up with us on Wednesday when we bring on T.W. Brown. But if not, we'll see you guys next Monday when James and I dissect The Walking Dead.
Good night, everybody.